Good afternoon, my name is Cayden Smith, and I did my project on authentication mechanisms in the world of technology. So before continuing with the topic, what is authentication? Authentication is the process to determine if a person is who they actually say they are. It's one of the most important processes of protecting the information of the user. There are multiple types of authentication, including single-factor, two-factor, and multi-factor. And some factors to keep in mind are something you are, something you have, something you know, something you do, or the place you're at. Methods of authentication can be passwords, phone numbers, emails, biometrics, like fingerprints, for example, and security questions where were you born? Single factor is the most basic form of authentication. It's commonly used for basic accounts on websites. So take Netflix, for example. There are only one method needed to be used to authenticate, and the most common method to be used is the use of a password. So all you have to do is worry about putting in your username and your password, and you're logged in. Single factor is easy, but it does bring its own disadvantages. The quote from delinea.com helps talk about the disadvantages of the single factor. Online sites can have users' passwords leaked by cybercriminals. Although it doesn't happen often, it can happen. Without an additional factor to protect your password to confirm your identity, all a malicious user needs is your password to gain access. Single factor is also being phased out and being replaced with two or multi-factor as time goes by. And since there's only one method to be used, passwords, for example, need to be strong while containing multiple types of characters, which can bring its own downsides, like remembering your passwords, because a lot of people tend to forget them. Two-factor authentication requires the use of two methods to authenticate the user. And the most popular form that you can find most places that use it is a password and then followed up with a text or email code that's sent. And this quote by Authy.com helps explain the increased security brought by two-factor. With 2FA, a potential compromise of just one of these factors won't unlock the account. So even if password is stolen or your phone is lost, the chances of someone else having your second factor information is highly unlikely. Multi-factor authentication requires the use of at least two different methods of authentication, but you are able to use more methods as you would like. Although it's secure, multi-factor authentication is only used every now and then, as seen in this quote by Microsoft. Some people worry about multi-factor authentication is going to be really inconvenient, but generally it's only used the first time you sign into the app or device, or the first time you sign in after changing your password. So you only have to do it every now and then when you're logging in. Biometric authentication is one of the most secure forms of authentication today. It's commonly found in phones with face recognition and fingerprint scanners in like iPhones and Androids. There are many types of biometric authentication, like the fingerprints, facial recognitions, and iris scan. One benefit of having biometric authentication brings it that it's unique to each individual. For example, Emily's fingerprint will be different from George's fingerprint. Biometrics is found in many government jobs throughout the world, as stated in the quote from techtarget.com. For example, the Automated Fingerprint Identification System, or AFIS, is a database that is used to identify fingerprints. It was first used in the early 1970s as a way for police departments to automate their otherwise manual fingerprint identification process, making it quicker and more effective. And it's also very hard to recreate the biometrics, and it will become even stronger in the future. Authentication protocols are designed to transfer the authentication information between the systems at play. There are many types of authentication protocols. Some of them include Kerberos, SAML, and LDAP. The following quote by geeksforgeeks.org help describe the different reasons for the use of the protocols. SAML stands for Security Assertion Markup Language, which is based on XML-based authentication data format, which provides the authorization between the identity provider and the service provider. And the other one is, it is protocol that is used for a permitting any individuals, organizations, or other devices during a network regardless of being on or corporate internet. Now, when it comes to authentication, there are some negatives that come along with it. When it comes to single factor, like I've mentioned, it's the passwords. Since it's only one, it's quite simple to hack into it and gain access to the account. And with authentication methods getting smarter over time, price can become an issue with things like biometrics, because it's going to continue getting stronger, but it's going to require stronger technology, which tends to be more expensive. And biometrics does bring its fair share of negatives. Biometrics can become inconsistent as people age, as skin ages. And another negative is shared by onelogin.com. Yes, biometrics are generally more secure, but they aren't foolproof. Hackers can spoof biometric data by using various techniques like downloading or printing a person's photo, using a fake silicone fingerprint, or a 3D mask. Such attacks are known as representation attacks. And these are my works cited. And thank you for watching.